This Mountain Dew original Xbox started out as a very liquid damaged console, and Robert over on the Restorish channel did a full deep clean on it, and it actually did start up, but it gives us an error code. Now in his video I did notice some bulging capacitors on the inside, so he gave it to me so I can make a video trying to fix it. I'll put a link for his video at the end of this one if you want to see the full deep clean. But for now, let's get this thing taken apart and check out those capacitors. This video is sponsored by iFixit, more on them in a minute. Okay, and I can immediately see this bulging capacitor right here. The rest of them actually don't look too bad, honestly. But since we're gonna have this thing all apart, I'm just gonna replace all of them. So this is the one I first noticed, but this one's bulged, this one's bulged, this one's bulged, and even some 1, 2, 3 of these guys are bulged out right here. And those are all the ones that I see majorly bulged, but when these ones are in this bad of shape, all the rest should just be replaced as well. So I'm gonna get that done now. Get yourself some popcorn and buckle up, because we're gonna put all of these brand new capacitors in place of all of these old ones. All right, let's flux it up. And then I'll use some solder wick to remove the solder. And those things should basically just fall out. Might need to wiggle them a little bit. So not all the solder is coming up here. And I think it's because the joints are really dirty. This thing is kind of flooded out. So what I'm going to do is put actually some fresh solder on here, kind of mix with the old solder, and then see if we can get it to come up a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. So now I'm just heating up each leg one by one, kind of pulling down as I go. So what we're going to do next is clean that pad up a little bit. And this is 3300 UF and 10 volts. And so that will be one of these guys right here. So this white hash mark goes with the minus side. I'm just gonna sort of heat one leg at a time and push each leg through as we go. All right, now let's come in through the other side. I'm just gonna push up on this as we heat the legs. And that will get it going all the way through. Now we'll cut the legs off. I'm gonna add just a little bit of solder down on the legs. Make sure we got plenty there. All right, first one done. So next we're gonna be doing these three. These are the ones that are the most obviously bulged and leaking. So we'll do those next. I've already got them marked out. So let's just flux these all up at once. And again, using my larger iron just to get as much heat on here as we can. Okay, so let's see if we can get enough heat on this to pull these out. Yep. All right. Clean up this pad. There we go. Got it. Okay, that's through. Now we just need to solder it on. Now we'll clip these legs off.
"20 minutes later."
So now, the next ones we're gonna do are these three right here. These are the next biggest ones. And these three are the ones that will replace them.
Day 2.
So next we have these 13 small capacitors right here. Since we have so many to do at the same time, I'm gonna use a little bit different method. I'm gonna heat from one side of the board with my hot air station, and then I will pull the capacitor out, install the new one, and then let the solder solidify. The reason I'm doing it this way is it's a lot faster to just use my hot air station and heat from the bottom side, and then I can pull the old capacitor out, put the new capacitor in while the solder is still melted, and that will make this process go so much faster. And now we have 7 of these sort of medium-sized capacitors, so we'll do those next. Now, one of the things that I did find is this capacitor right here had one of the legs just totally corroded off. So there are multiple capacitors in here that didn't look too bad from the top. Like this one from the top looks mostly fine, but it was totally leaking and it just corroded one of the legs totally away. So I'm hoping that maybe this, the hard drive for this might be okay, and it's just a matter of getting the right voltage to the hard drive. Okay, and now all we have left are the surface mounts. iFixit sells some of the best toolkits around, and if you're looking for a very low cost, basic electronics toolkit, the iFixit Essential Electronics Toolkit is what you need. It's got a basic selection of bits that will get you into most devices. It's got a pry tool, tweezers, a driver, a suction cup, some plastic picks, a spudger, and an iFixit pry tool. This basic toolkit is great whether you're trying to fix your phone screen or get into your PlayStation 5. One of the things I love about iFixit toolkits is the case. It's got a nice hard plastic case, and you can use the top case to put your screws and keep them organized. And then it's got magnets that will hold it down to the rest of the toolkit. If you're looking for a little more robust toolkit though, I recommend the iFixit Protect toolkit. While this one does cost a little bit more, it comes with more tools so you can open more devices. It's got more tweezers, an ESD wrist strap, and then a whole bunch more bits over here. iFixit doesn't just offer great tools though, they also offer parts, repair guides, and a question and answer section where you can get your question answered by experienced repair technicians. Go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix and I'll put a link right in the description. A lot of times surface mount capacitors kind of escape the bulging top, but this one and this one a little bit are very bulged, so we definitely need to get those replaced. So we'll get those done, and then we have this one bigger one. After that's done, we've fully completed this capacitor replacement. So for these capacitors, there are several ways we could do it. I could heat up from the bottom like I did on these capacitors right here, but since these are surface mount, I'm gonna have to get a lot more heat on the board, so I'd have to stress the board a lot more to heat these enough to get the solder to melt, and I don't really wanna do that. So what I'm gonna do is actually just come in with my iron, heat one side up as I lift with my tweezers, and then heat the other side up as I lift, and rock it back and forth until it comes completely off. Then I'll install the new capacitor. And with those capacitors replaced, we are fully done with this recap. Now let's get this thing put back together and see if all this did any good. Okay, I've got it back together enough just to test it. We got it all hooked up. Let's hit the power. Okay. It took me several times hitting the power button. Okay, we do have it starting up on the screen. That's good. Oh, there we go. It's starting up. This is better than Robert got on his video so far, so that's good. Our controller is not working. Okay, eject button is not working. We do have a green light though, so that's good. I feel like this front panel may be having an issue. Oh, there we go. Okay, so all the controller ports except for number 1 work just fine. So the number 1 controller port, and then also the disk drive doesn't work at all. Nothing happens when I press the button. Okay, so I'm gonna get this turned off and we'll have a look at this disk drive. Okay, yeah, this definitely has had some damage in here. So I'm trying to manually eject this. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got it coming a little bit. Oh, wow. That belt is really bad. This motor looks pretty messed up down here. The motor actually does spin though, and it's not totally seized. So I'm thinking, well, let's remove it and have a look at it. Maybe? There we go. All right, the motor itself actually feels pretty good. It moves really freely, so it might be okay actually. And what I'm gonna do is use some BW100, clean this motor up, clean the switches up, and then put it back in, and then lube everything up and see if that's all it takes to fix this thing. So here we go, BW100 down in the motor. I actually wanna get it down inside the motor. I'll just help clean it all up on the inside. Same with these switches. Okay, let's put this thing back in, get it lubed up, and then we'll see if this thing's gonna work after that. So here we go, I'm gonna lube up these rails, not a lot, just to make sure they slide nice and free. Same with this rail right here. If we get too much on here, then this grease will just kind of go all over inside the disk drive, so we don't need a lot. Yep, there we go, that's feeling real good. Now, we need to kind of do a similar thing with these rails over here, and also with these gears over here. Okay, how are we doing now? So much better. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Let's get the belt on, and then we can put this thing back in and see if any of that did any good. Okay, all good so far. Let's see what happens when we press the eject. Nothing. So let's try replacing this with a known good one and see if we can get that one working. Okay, and a different disk drive installed. Let's see what happens with this one. Still nothing. So either we have a problem with the button here, or we have a problem getting power to the disk drive. That should be easy enough to check. We should be able to probe the pins on the back of the disk drive to see if it's getting power. So first, let's see if we're getting power to our drive. So we have black pin connected to ground. This first pin should be 12 volts. We get 11.9, and that should be close enough. Pin 2 should be 5 volts. 4.9 should be close enough. Pin 9 should be 12 volts. Close enough. And pin 10 should be 5 volts. And there we go. Okay, so we're looking at pin 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This pin should get power when we press the button. Let's see if it does. Nope. Nothing. This should be the tray out, and we don't get anything there. But if we go over to the next pin over, pin 7, we get a tray in. So it seems like it's trying to push the tray in. I feel like I'm not totally sure that's correct. Oh, no. This is right. So this is CD ready. This is pin 6. Okay, we're good. So the drive is not getting a signal to open from the motherboard. So we got to get down to that board and see what's going on there. So I took this panel out that has the button board on it because I feel like one of the most likely causes of this problem is just the eject button itself. So this is the backside showing that button, and this is a board that has a known good button. So let's test them both and compare. We are in resistance mode. So on the one that we know works, we're going to go from here to here. If I can get both probes on there at the same time. Okay, and watch the meter. And we show a reading of 500 ohms and dropping. Now let's try it on the one that we know is bad. And we just get no reading at all. That's kind of what I suspected. So let's replace this one with this one, then put it back together and see if that's all it takes to get this eject button working. Okay, and back together. Here we go again. Power. Okay, all powered up. Let's check the disk drive. Come on. Oh, it wants to. So bad. Well, we know it's doing better than it did. Getting caught up on something. Back in. Oh, there we go. Sort of. Let's put a disc in and see if it reads. All right, here we go. Takes it in. It's making noise. Is it spinning up? What? There's absolutely no way that disk drive is going to work. Well, we got it a lot further than I thought we would. It does seem to be stuck here just on the Xbox logo. It's still... Your Xbox can't recognize this disk. That's amazing we even have power to this thing. I'm pretty sure the laser is bad in this one just because of all the corrosion inside there. So I think our best bet is going to be to replace this disk drive. So I'm going to get that done now, and then we'll test it again and see if it works. But I can't believe we even got this far on this disk drive. That's pretty impressive. Okay, and we need to slide this off. Careful. Ah, there we go. Okay, and we just slide this on here. And now we have a Mountain Dew Xbox DVD drive. Okay, and disk tray open. All right, and there we go. Oh, disk tray close. There we go. Let's see if it'll play the disc. I hear it spinning up. Come on. And it looks like it's playing. So we have fixed yet another special edition Mountain Dew Xbox. If you didn't see how this Xbox started out over on the Restorish channel, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now. So you can go hang out over there and watch this thing come back to life from a really, really rusty, dirty, nasty console. I do have a little bit more work to do on getting this disc tray going in and out reliably, but overall, at least we were able to get it to work. Don't forget to go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix. I'll put a link for that right in the description. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.